Greetings. Welcome to Open Lotus Wisdom. I thought for this video I'd share a little bit about these cards and me. You know, it wasn't until recently that I found out that these are Lenormand cards. And I've been using them for a very long time. Until I decided that with some health issues with my hands and wrist, and my old deck was getting pretty worn down, I thought that I would create this deck of cards as a random card generator. And it was basically made for me to use instead of having to pull out my cards and fumble through them and just make it easier on my condition I was experiencing. So that's how I ended up with the electronic cards, we'll say. And then as time goes by, I just create new ones, just like people have different decks. I decided to start making new ones. I'm even working on some actual video cards to put a little motion to them. We'll see how that goes. It's a lot of work, but I enjoy it, so I'll keep plugging along with that. But it was interesting. I've looked around and there's quite a few people who teach how to read these cards, and they've been pretty profound in my journey of life. It's been over between 30 and 40 years for me that I've been on my, what I refer to as spiritual journey, getting to know about myself and all those why questions that most people have when they start getting older in life, or the journey can take you on some downward spirals. And that, for me, that's what I had a few experiences, mystical experiences that happened, and it led me to the door of my journey. And I've met many wonderful people and explored a lot of things like you may be doing at this time. But this was one tool that I incorporated out of many for divination. I really like dowsing, pendulums. I like to work with healing modalities. And even the cards, they do fit into your healing in a special way. Part of the processes that I've been through is identifying thoughts in my head. And that can be a very interesting thing to do. When you start listening to what's going on in your head, you can start asking, is that my ego or is that me? Now, the ego will lead you down some paths, because I've listened to mine and things didn't always come out smelling like roses, we'll say. It was an important lesson and brought it to my attention. And it's part of the training to really become aware of your intuition, which is a powerful force that we all have inside of us. So whether you decide to Watch some of my card readings, buy a deck, start exploring who you are to empower yourself. I welcome hearing from you. I think it's important for each of us. And perhaps I'll share more about my journey, which has been interesting, to say the least. And I use that word as I suppose it's a non-committal to it was wonderful or man, it sucked, because there's been both. That's part of the journey. You have to go on the ups and the downs. And some of them are pretty extreme. We always get up, though. We get back up. We keep moving forward. And that is what counts. So I have a few notes here. That's why I'm looking. So this is basically one of the many tools that I tend to use. Like I said, I love dowsing. That kind of taps into your energy field, your higher self, which is in your energy field. And that also will sort of help with your intuition. When you begin learning any type of dowsing, it doesn't matter if it's a dowsing rod or pendulum, if that thing lies to you and you think that, oh, this doesn't work, right? You may not be grounded. And actually, you have caught it. What's your energy? What are you thinking? Are you already thinking it's not going to work? The power of thought, the power of word. Another thing to think about. There was this man named Emoto, and for today we have Veda Austin, and they study water. And our bodies are mostly water, and found that words, just like music, which is a frequency, everything's holding for frequency. It could be a color in the water. When you freeze it, it can either show you a beautiful pattern or not so much. So there is power behind word. There is power behind music and frequency. So be aware of that. Explore. Open up to possibilities that yesterday you didn't believe in. Because you are a very powerful being. Well, I think that is really what I feel like I need to share today. And I invite you to sit in silence. Listen to what comes in your head. Notice how your body feels. Does it feel like it's contracting, or does it feel more relaxed and expansive? That'll help you to identify if that was your ego or your, we could say, soul self. Thanks again for stopping by. See you when I do the next card reading. Be well. And always remember, be kind to yourself with gratitude.